Woo! Hello, fellow creative, beautiful souls. Part of this press publish challenge for me, it definitely started with what I wanted to publish. And if any of you have watched my Q1 video, you may have seen that I had a pretty intense experience in the winter. And that experience brought me kind of this new life, or this new way of looking at life, or being in relationship to life and God. And I kind of feel like a little bit of a baby or I'm like relearning how to who I am. And I think that's relevant to this because I previous to that experience, I have a huge list of songs and a large anthology of, if that's the right word, of poetry, and ideas for zines and all of these things. And since having that experience in the winter, I feel none of that felt right to publish. Kind of in some ways, like my voice, it didn't feel right to use my voice or what I thought I knew, because I felt and feel like I'm coming from a different place now. That's like more rooted in faith and groundedness. And so it was interesting to witness, like, oh, okay, like, well, what am I gonna publish? Because I want to be a part of this. And so I decided that I was gonna do a more manual route, instead of press publish. I was gonna physically hit publish. So this is my Q2 DAC Games submission entitled Hit Publish. So for my hit publish idea, I decided that I was going to plant trees. And I think the first thing that came up for me that I want to share in the report is that I decided I was going to plant trees as my publishing, and then my brain was like, that's not publishing. You need to ask permission to think outside of the box in that way. So it's very interesting to witness that, taking something and being creative with it, to notice how that was like my inclination to do that. And then after I decided that I was going to follow that inclination, there was this part of me that wanted to ask permission to do that. And so that felt really interesting to me, to notice that I wanted external validation, that what I was going to do was okay. And so I sat with that for a while and decided that it is okay for me to come outside the box and be creative with it, and that it makes sense that I don't feel ready to use my voice. Kind of in obviously I love nature, the permaculture idea is that the first year of something you don't do anything. You just watch and listen and see what happens. And so kind of in some ways that feels like not choosing to publish something when I feel in a different space, or I feel like I'm like in a new me, to kind of just continue to watch and wait. And yeah, so I feel pretty excited to have moved through that. And yeah, and I think what I came to terms with is I thought about publishers. So if I am a writer and I go to a publisher, they physically create the environment for the writer to be able to publish what they are out into the world. And so I was like, okay, what if I am the publisher of seeds or of trees? And so I really liked that way of looking at it, the way of being like, I'm going to create the environment for this being that has its genetic makeup. It knows what to do once I create the environment to be able to publish into this beautiful being of a tree, you know? And then I was like, oh, as if I would ever think that trees would be unworthy of saying that they are something that's being published. And then I really love that, because then I started to think about how we are the seeds of God, and God creates the conditions for us to flourish. And that kind of like went along with my new depth of faith and the ability to kind of just like I can trust a seed. I can trust that if I put a seed in the earth, it will grow if I give it the right conditions. And so I can also then practice the trust that God has put me on the earth and given me the right conditions to be the tree that I am. And I don't need to be so worried about it, that it will just happen. So that felt like a sort of like the first little nugget that I received during this challenge. So once I decided that I was going to, yes, indeed, grow trees, I again kind of went the permaculture way, and it was spring where I am. And so all of the trees, all the buds were starting to swell and open. And so I took it upon myself to walk around and really like get close to the buds and notice them in a way that I hadn't before. And I was like, wait, like what comes out of a bud? Like, how do I not know that? And every tree is different. Some of them are leaves, some of them flowers, some of them the needles, and they all like sort of open at different times. And yeah, so that felt really connective to experience and kind of sad. Like I definitely had grief about being like, wow, like how have I never noticed this? Like why haven't I asked these questions? As someone who does feel quite connected to nature and is like very aware that everything that our entire lives that we have is because of nature, and that we are innately a part of nature. So it felt really interesting. It was like, oh, like these friends of mine, I don't even know how they like go through their life and death cycles. And so that felt cool to sort of fall more in depth into. Yeah, so I kind of did that like permaculture, wait and watch. And then I started doing a little research, and naturally for me a lot of things I get stoked about are because they're around food. Like I just like love eating, I love foraging, and so a few times some things fell into my lap, like a few some pawpaw branches and magnolia branches. And so there was some joy in like experimenting with these gifts that were naturally just like given to me. And yeah, so that felt really cool, that, and it felt really in alignment that these branches were kind of just like being left for me. Yeah, and from though from my research, I started to learn that after the buds come out is not particularly the best time to be growing trees, because most trees are grown through propagation of cuttings. So that's just like part of the tree put into the ground. But that's best done in the fall or when the tree's dormant. And the other time is through seeds. And so instead, I decided that I was going to play with seeds. So I decided to go to the grocery store and see who I felt really excited about. And yeah, I'm gonna bring you to this live video that I filmed after I went to the grocery store. So I just walked out of the grocery store and I wanted to film this because I haven't really had this experience before. I walked into the grocery store and I was in the fruit aisle section, and all I could see was trees and plants. I was like, oh, you could grow this many plants with this melon, and you could do this and this. And so I came out with a bag of on sale, my favorite Alfonso mangoes, 4 lychees, which means 4 trees. This is how many mangoes? 5 mangoes, 5 trees, and this beauty, pomegranate, which probably has like 50 seeds in it, if not more than that. So we're gonna plant them and see what happens. But I think what I want to emphasize is that it was interesting to me to notice how I walked into the grocery store and the abundance that I felt from that. Yeah, I think in Canada there's like this, groceries are very expensive, and especially in Ontario, and I can often leave the grocery store feeling defeated, but this time I felt enlivened, with the possibility of growth and all the life that exists there once we choose to look at it. So after my experience at the grocery store, I just got cracking, planting lots and lots of trees, lots of seeds, and I think that, well, first of all, I don't know if any of you have ever grown seeds, but it is extremely exciting when they sprout. And so I definitely gleaned the joy of life and the abundance of life, and really started to see all of the abundance of nature everywhere. How there's this cherry tree beside my house that I'm living currently, and it's just dripping with cherries. And I'm like, those are all trees. Those could all become trees. This is so amazing. And learning that you can propagate pretty much every plant. So then starting to propagate from my community supported agriculture, when I get herbs, cutting them, putting them in water, letting them root, and then having those as plants. And I think a huge lesson for me in this was abundance. I think that was the biggest lesson, is just when I feel connected to nature, I know the abundance of the world, and that feels safe. I think it brings a feeling of safety, of faith, of joy, and that feels pretty exciting to hold in my heart and share with others. I want to end off with 3 surprising reminders that came up for me during this. And the first one is that I used to run a mushroom cultivation education company where I would make mushroom logs and sell them and teach people how to grow mushrooms. And I always kind of struggled with the piece of having to cut down trees to grow the mushrooms. And when I owned that business, I often tried to find trees that were already being cut down. And this year, outside of the business, I like the universe gifted me a bunch of maple trees that had been cut down, so I am inoculating those. But there was something about now planting all of these trees that felt like I could inoculate, because I was giving back in a way that felt like it was reciprocal. So that felt really nice. It felt kind of like a solution to this internal turmoil that I had been holding. So that's one. Another one is I remembered this feeling that I had years ago that what kind of goes with that indigenous way of looking at the world of of whatever you do for the next 7 generations, and thinking of those 7 generations. And I felt that so deeply when I was laying around all the trees that I had planted and imagining them as if they were a forest and all of the abundance that they would give back to the world. Like, that just felt so like, oh, like, yeah, I'm taking one seed from a tree that probably produced at least hundreds of seeds, and that one seed will produce hundreds of seeds every season when they start fruiting for their lifetime, and all of those seeds will then create more seeds. And that just felt so beautiful. So like and then I have this imagining of both, like, if I ever have children and they get to meet trees that I had planted, or my great grandchildren, like, that just kind of feels like what life is about. Like, what's a better gift? And I also used to think about how, if you believe in past lives or lifetimes, how I could plant a tree in this lifetime and have a relationship with it in another lifetime. Or I could be having a relationship with a tree. And by having a relationship, I mean like climbing it, tending to them, picking their fruits, being under their shade, using them as firewood or to build something. So I could, in a past life, planted a tree, and then in this lifetime have some sort of relationship to that tree, and that feels so like cool to me. And I think lastly what I want to leave you with is that I also remembered a song that I had made up years ago when working in child education for 2 to 4-year-olds, outdoor education. And I made up this song about trees. And if any of you have seen Totoro, I took the dance from Totoro of them going around the little tree that they take, where they go boop, 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 boop. And we went around and sang this song, me and a bunch of 2 to 4-year-olds and some other adults, and sang this song to baby trees in the woods and did this little dance. And yeah, I felt inspired to just do a little recording of it and do a little dance with one of my trees. So it's kind of interesting because that me starting with I don't know if I want to be with the songs that I had previously been with, and then ending this with writing a little song and releasing it through this video feels not unimportant. Though I don't know, I don't feel the need to know why. And I'm just grateful to be here and to be able to do it. So I hope you enjoy, and much love to you and all the trees in your life. God bless. Grow tree, grow, grow tree, grow. Grow tree, grow, grow tree, grow. Sway to and fro, sway to and fro. Grow tree, grow, grow tree, grow. Grow tree, grow, grow tree, grow. Sway to and fro, sway to and fro. Grow tree, grow, grow tree, grow. Grow tree, grow.